Stop there.
Indeed. Let's move on to the news. The big news is the signing by the Angels of Yusei Kikuchi, the left-hander, spent last year on a couple of teams. He went from Toronto to the Astros, where he really picked up his game and finished the year perfect, not perfect, but just perfect for them as far as he was concerned. And look, Dan, if you can say anything about him, it's this. He is durable, man. He has made at least 30 starts in every season outside the COVID season, except for one. My question to you is, you see the stats there, from Toronto to the Astros, big difference. What are the Angels getting?
They're getting a really good pitcher. I thought he kind of was on that, hidden in that rotation in Toronto, right? You had some really good pitchers in Toronto. I thought when the Astros acquired him at the trade deadline, I thought that was one of the sneaky good trade line gets. A couple of things jumped to me right off the get-go. Swing and miss. Four-seam fastball, and we've seen a lot of pitchers come from Japan, and they've had some success. So it's kind of a business where, hey, you see something that works, you go back to the well. You take a look what Yamamoto did, spent a lot of time on the AL. He's going to be a really good pitcher. Yamamoto was really good. And then Imanaga with the Cubs, a guy that came over. I think Imanaga and Kikuchi, very similar kind of players. I think when you look at the pitch mix of Kikuchi, I can see what the Angels are looking for. He brings a lot to the table. Good four-seam fastball. He used it more when he put on an Astros uniform. Sneaky, really good fastball. He'll get some swing and misses on the curveball, and it's a good curveball. This one isn't a particularly good one, but I thought he used a lot of off-speed stuff when he was pitching with the Toronto Blue Jays. He went away from that fastball. I'm not saying that maybe different organizations, you have a different theory, like you want to use more off-speed pitches. He puts on the Astros uniform, and all of a sudden, instead of being a lot of off-speed pitch happy, he starts mixing in more fastballs. And it's a fastball that plays up, man. It's 95 to 96, but it plays like it's 98 to 100. So you mix that fastball with a good hard slider that he throws down and into righties, and he'll throw it down and away to lefties. So you have two really good pitches. And he has that curveball in the back of his pocket that he uses as a chance. I thought you look at this. Look at the four-seam usage with the Blue Jays, and then with Houston. Slider usage was a lot more heavy when he acquired. He put on that uniform of the Astros. I thought the biggest change he made, not as many four-seam fastballs, but the fastballs that he did throw were more elevated in the strike zone. That high fastball that plays, the high fastball, the slider down and in, a good combination for him. He was really good. I think this is a really good get for the Angels.
It may be a good get, but is it the get that's going to take them from 99 losses, the most they ever had, by the way, 99 losses? Is it going to take them into contention for a wild card? They haven't been in the postseason in a decade.
I don't know if it's going to take them in contention, but I know this. They're going to be a lot more a team that's going to be taken a lot more seriously. A couple of years ago in the draft, they drafted nothing but pitchers. So they were banking on developing some of those good young starting pitchers. So all of a sudden, you put a veteran guy into a younger starting rotation, kind of what the Royals did last year. Here's kind of a little peek at what the Angels are looking at. Reed Detmers is a guy that's already has a no-hitter. I thought the Kyle Hendricks signing, I know, raised a lot of eyebrows, like, wait a minute, you know, he's 88 to 89 miles an hour, but he's reliable, he's dependable, can manage a game. There were too many games last year that Ron Washington had to go into that bullpen in the third and fourth inning. You continue to do that in April and May. You have a good bullpen. You turn it into a very suspect bullpen because they're overworked, they're overexposed. You need to find some innings. And I think when you get a guy like Hendricks and you get a guy like Kikuchi and you figure that Detmers is going to continue to get better, now you're looking at 3/5 of your rotation that you feel really comfortable about, and I think that's where they feel now.
Okay, well, look, improvement is they're looking for it because they can't go the other way. They can't keep going that way. They got to pick up the slack there. Sam Blum of The Athletic joins us right now. Hey, Sam, your take on the signing and what it means for the team.
I mean, I think that, like you guys said, this makes the Angels better today. I don't know if it makes them significantly better. I mean, the mandate for Perry Manassian right now is to probably improve this roster by about 20 games. I mean, they won 63 games last year. They signed Minasian to an extension, but that's only a 2-year extension, and Artie Moreno's made it very clear that they expect to win next year. Now, I think that's kind of always the fault with the Angels. They're never really able to just kind of take an investment in a rebuild. But yeah, I mean, this is what their plan is. They feel pressure to win next year. Minasian feels pressure to win next year, and this is what the budget kind of allows for. I think is a step below maybe the Corbin Burns, the Max Frieds of the world, and Yusei Kikuchi is a really solid starter. I think that a lot of the guys they picked up, as you have on the screen there, a lot of the guys they picked up this offseason are players that kind of finished the year pretty well, but not perfect players, not guys that are going to break the bank, but are on the upward trajectory, they believe. So I mean, that's kind of what they need to do in order to have a successful season in 25 is get some reclamation projects, find some players they think can perform for them, and as Dan mentioned, I mean, that slider usage after he went to the Astros really helped him be a very effective pitcher, and I think that the Angels are hoping that what he found there in Houston is going to translate over to Anaheim.
Yeah, exactly, because I was going to say that. What he learned there, does he bring it out to California? Okay, a couple of other notes here. We showed a graphic. The acquisition, Travis d'Arnaud, Jorge Soler, those are the big ones. Dan talked about Hendricks. I love d'Arnaud. I think he is not talked about enough as far as working with the pitching. And Soler, we know it's all about the power and production. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think one thing the Angels have done this offseason is, I mean, they've kind of done this for a few years now, is just bring people over from the Braves organization. They not only got d'Arnaud, but they also brought over the assistant. They brought over his catching coach, Sal Fasano, to be the assistant pitching coach. So I think they recognize that a lot of their starting pitching. You talked about Reed Detmers. He's someone that really, really struggled last year. He spent most of the season in AAA. And he's someone they have high hopes for. I mean, they need to find answers to these young pitchers. I mean, you also mentioned the 21 draft. Not a single player from that 21 draft has found any success in the major leagues yet. So, there's a lot of pitcher development things that they need to work on. And I think that when you bring in someone like d'Arnaud, I mean, this is a guy that, they're hoping can help their pitching staff. They're hoping can help bring Logan O'Hoppe along as a, kind of the face of the franchise moving forward. This is an important acquisition, and I think someone that the front office is very familiar with. There's a lot of question marks for the Angels. I think they're trying to build something with what ownership is kind of giving them, but it's going to take guys that just come in and help and are mentors. I don't think you're going to get superstars right now, outside of the ones already on the roster.
I can't believe we are this far into the conversation. I haven't mentioned Mike Trout. What are they getting in 2025? What's it going to be?
That is a kind of probably the question of the whole season, I would say, because if you don't have a healthy Mike Trout at a very productive level, I mean, I think it's really hard to see a pathway for the Angels to be what they need to be in order, for them to get to the playoffs for the first time since 2014. He's someone that's been out now for about 4 years in a row. I mean, the injuries in 2022, he was the MVP, I think like 5th or 6th in MVP voting. But outside of that, he was even injured for a portion of that year. He's no longer one of the top players in the game in the sense that he's just not out there and he's not available to be that. And I think, this is just it's kind of a tragic story, but he's still, 33. He's still got a chance to be a really, really, really great player. The question is, can he come back? Can he be an effective offensive player to the extent that he's able to connect on fastballs more than he has in years past? Can he, find that power? Can he stay healthy? Can he, play the corner outfield and still, I guess be in a good position mentally, because that's always a question with Mike. Is he like happy? Is he in a good headspace? So from my perspective, yeah, I mean, it's a huge question mark. I think that if you can get 6 healthy months out of him, he doesn't have to be a top 5 player in the league. He can just be really good, Mike Trout, and that is probably enough for the Angels to feel pretty good about his performance.
It's really amazing as we say goodbye to Sam Blum, and we thank you. It is absolutely amazing how quickly you can go from being the best player on the planet to being a guy who can't stay in the lineup, and then you look around, you see guys 10 years younger than you. Well, here's a guy not 10 years younger, Dan, but a few years younger. Juan Soto, 26. Buster Olney of ESPN tweeted this. Sources involved in the Soto talks expect the teams will begin forwarding offers this week. To date, the process has been about Soto meeting with teams and club officials and about those officials getting to know Juan Soto. And we know the player. We get it. He is maybe a generational player. I want to know from you what a team is going to get, and is he the guy to bring a team from out of the playoffs to a deep run?
All you have to go back is look at 2024. He completely transformed the lineup for the New York Yankees, right? Without him in the lineup, I'm not sure Aaron Judge would have seen any pitches to hit from April through the end of the year. So with that said, I think the thing that bothered me, if I were a Yankee fan today, is the fact that let's say 30 minutes after Game 5, the Yankees were eliminated, and he basically said, in other words, I'm going to listen to all offers. I'm going to see what's out there. I'm going to take this free agency thing. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to look what everybody has to offer. There was very little. I enjoyed my time in New York. I enjoyed playing with Aaron Judge. I enjoyed the Garrett Cole. I enjoyed the bleacher creatures, the whole experience that goes with being a Yankee. So with that said, I would be surprised if he signs back with the Yankees unless they are the highest bidder. I do think he's going to go to whoever pays him the most money, and the teams that he's going to go to are going to be competitive and good teams. Listen, if you're one of the bottom tier teams, you're certainly not in the market for a player that's going to cost you $600 million. With that said, he's sitting in a great spot right now. You've got the Mets, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays, three large market teams. We've heard you could throw the Giants into the mix. You could throw the Dodgers into the mix. And I'm sure the Cubs are kicking the tires. So he has all the major big market teams that are going to be in. But I still think at the end of the day, Matt, he's going to where he's going to get paid the most. And my gut feeling, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, my gut feeling is he'll be somewhere other than wearing a Yankee uniform.
Wow. Wow. Because and we could talk forever about this. People are saying Mets or Yankees. I happen to think, whatever it's worth, you can't leave New York if you're Juan Soto. You are a face of the game. And unfortunately for people outside of New York, it is where everything goes on.
And I get where you're coming, but if you come from the player's perspective, he's already been started with the Nationals, with the Padres, now the Yankees. So his allegiance to a team, it's not like he was drafted by the Yankees and came up through the system.
I got you.
And once you leave that original team that you came up with, all bets are off. All the ties, all the connection, all the feelings that you have warm and fuzzy about that team that signed you and developed you, that's out the window. He's going where he's getting paid the most.
He's out the window because he said no to $400 million. That's why Washington's out the window. And when I said everything takes place in New York, I didn't mean that. What I meant was the attention is always, good or bad, on New York.
He was an all-star for the Blue Jays, so he has experience pitching that ninth inning. I'm quite surprised he was non-tendered. The last year and a half, he's had some injury-plagued season, a guy that knows how to pitch the ninth inning. I would assume there's going to be a strong market for him, particularly now because teams aren't afraid to build a bullpen on the fly. You kind of see the decline in games, 62 games in 2021, 63 in 2022, injury-filled 2024 with only 15 games pitched. The K per 9 was down, obviously had some injuries. Expect him to bounce back. Maybe he'll need this winter to get his body healthy and get back in one piece. I think he's going to help somebody. There are a lot of bullpens that need help. There are a lot of bullpens that need to be restructured. As we saw in the postseason, you lean on the bullpen, that bullpen can get awfully thin, awfully quick. We saw it with the Guardians, who top to bottom had the best bullpen in baseball. As that series went on with the Yankees, you could see little by little they were starting to wear down. He'll have a place to go.
Yeah, it almost feels like, how could you not take a shot? Kyle Finnegan, by the way, he was an all-star, 22 and 23. Talking about Romano. Kyle Finnegan, another guy who I'm a little surprised by this.
You and I both. I think this is just a matter of the Nationals saying, okay, we don't know how good we're going to be in 2025. And do we want to allocate a lot of money that a guy that's going to be arbitration eligible, that's going to take a huge bump up in pay? He had a solid year last year. Listen, you hear Craig Counsell's famous quote, I want out-getters. If you can get outs in the ninth inning, you certainly can get outs in the seventh and the eighth inning. There's going to be a home for Kyle Finnegan. Look at the save totals the last 2 years. 28 saves in 2023, 38 saves last year in 2024. And if you like reliability, he's going to pitch you in 65 games just about every season long. He will find a home. Don't be surprised if he doesn't get a multi-year deal from somebody.
Yeah, again, a guy who's definitely worth a shot. And he was an all-star in 2024. So from all-star to non-tendered, your third guy, your final guy.
Cal Quantrill. He kind of hides in anonymity out there with the Rockies, and a very tough ballpark to pitch in. The guy's a strike thrower, former first-round draft pick out of Stanford. His father was a tremendous relief pitcher, Canadian-born. Guy has a lot of guts, not afraid to take the ball. He's going to find a home, and he's also a guy I think you're going to get on a multi-year deal. He could help a lot of teams. You look at the innings pitch in 2022, 186 in the third with the Guardians, dropped off a little bit in 2023. The Rockies acquired him to pitch the 2024 season, 148 in the third innings pitched. He's a strike thrower. Getting out of that ballpark in Denver is going to help him. There are going to be several teams that'll be in on Cal Quantrill.
He's a strike thrower, yet the Ks per nine are low.
No, but listen, you get what you're going to get. Sooner or later, if you're an organization, you have to start building some pitchers that could give you some innings, right? It's great to say, hey, a guy has 12.5 K per 9 innings, but he has an ERA of 4.5 or 4.6. So you have to be careful what you ask for. You talk to any manager, any general manager when spring training starts, they're all worried about one thing and one thing only with their pitchers. Are we going to get enough innings out of our starting rotation so we don't wear out and blow out our bullpen? He's a guy that knows how to pitch. Getting out of that ballpark in Denver will help him. He's going to have a market.
And I picked a guy as well, and I want to know what you think about it. I value your opinion. So I'm going to give you right now Josh Rojas, who last year, a couple of years, played for Seattle, and he's 30 years old. This is not an offensive guy. This is you get him for defense, and you get him to move him around the field. So last year, number one, his WAR was 2.2. He played third base. He played second base. He played left field. He played first base, and he pitched. Now, that's not a good thing. If he's pitching, you know it's a bad day. The point is this. He is a great guy to have on your bench to replace, to make a move late in the game to get defense in anywhere on the field.
And I think what's going to help him is he's a really good piece on a team, on a good team. Well, if you're trying to give a corner outfielder a blow,
a good point.
But you feel like you're not missing anything, putting him in the lineup, a guy that can hit, he can hit for some occasional power. He would be a really good fit on a winning team. So let's say half of the teams in Major League Baseball realistically feel like going into spring training, they have a shot to make the postseason. Those 15 teams, they'll...
Hey, welcome back to MLB Tonight. Dan Plesac, Matt Yalf. Check this out. Celebrations. We had Anthony Banda and Landon Knack. Dodgers, the World Series trophy in the house. Dave Roberts, check this out. At the UCLA-USC game, Dan, he went to UCLA, and LA is just, they just love the Dodgers.
Yeah,
everybody there.
It's amazing where the Dodgers were at after Game 3, right, against the Padres. It looked like they were done, they were down, they were out. This was one of Dave Roberts' best managerial years ever. So many injuries. It's easy to say, hey, listen, they give them a plethora of players. They spend all kinds of money. They almost spent $1 billion before the season started. But I'm going to tell you, he rallied the troops. I thought they were done. Me and a lot of other experts, when they were down 2-1 to the Padres, I thought they were playing for their lives. He's had a marvelous career, and more than likely, you're going to see him in Cooperstown. 2-time World Series champion.
And I want to say this. In 1999, he was in AAA with Buffalo. He was playing for the Indians organization. He was the same guy then as he is right now.
Yeah, 2 as a manager, 1 as a player with the Red Sox, too, right?
Yeah, that's a small group.
Highway to the Hall of Fame, Dave Roberts.
Dan Plesac, Matt Yalf, we appreciate it. MLB Tonight. Tomorrow, we're back here.
Us too.
このシーズンオフも MLB の世界では注目すべきニュースが次々と飛び込んできています。中でも話題をさらっているのが雄星菊池選手のエンゼルス移籍です。昨シーズン、トロントブルージェイズからヒューストンアストロズへと移籍し、その後のパフォーマンスを飛躍的に向上させた菊池選手がエンゼルスでどのような 役割を果たすのか、多くのファンが期待を寄せています。菊池選手は、彼の代名詞ともいえるフォーシームの速球や、スライダー、カーブといった多彩な球種を巧みに使い分けることで知られています。昨年のアストロズでの活躍では、フォーシームの使用率を上げ、特にストライクゾーン高めに投げる速球で多くの三振を奪うスタイルが注目を集めました。エンゼルスのローテーションに加わることで、若手ピッチャー陣への影響力も大きくなるでしょう。特に、リード・デトマーズ選手やカイル・ヘンドリックス選手との連携が、チーム全体の安定感をもたらすと期待されています。しかし、エンゼルスが直面している課題は深刻です。昨シーズンの99敗は、球団史上最悪の記録であり、ポストシーズンに進出できていない期間は、すでに10年に及びます。この状況を打破するためには、菊池選手のような経験豊富な選手の加入が一歩前進となるものの、それだけでは十分ではありません。投手陣の強化に加え、打線の安定性やブルペンの改善が求められるでしょう。エンゼルスにとって、もう一つの重要なポイントは、マイク・ラウト選手の復活です。過去数年間、怪我に苦しみ、フルシーズン出場が難しかったトラウト選手ですが、健康を取り戻し、彼本来の力を発揮できるかどうかが、チームの成功に直結します。彼が再び攻撃の中心として活躍し、若手選手の手を本となることができれば、エンゼルスの未来は大きく変わる可能性があります。トラウト選手が少なくとも6ヶ月間健康を維持し、トップ5プレイヤーである必要はないにせよ、彼らしい強打を見せてくれれば、それだけでチームに大きなプラスとなります。さらに、彼が外野での守備や精神的な安定感を保ち、チームにとってリーダーシップを発揮できるかが、シーズン全体の結果に影響を与えるでしょう。一方で、MLB 全体で注目されているのが、フアン・ソト選手の移籍市場での動きです。ヤンキース、メッツ、ブルージェイズ、ドジャースといった名門球団が彼をめぐって熾烈な争奪戦を繰り広げています。ソト選手は優れた打撃力と試合を変える力を持つ世代を代表する選手の一人であり、彼の移籍先がどこになるかは、来シーズンのプレーオフ争いに直接影響を与えるでしょう。ソト選手は、ニューヨーク・ヤンキースでの短い期間にも大きなインパクトを残しましたが、彼自身が最も報酬の高いオファーを求めていることから、ヤンキースを離れる可能性が高いと予想されています。ニューヨークの市場でプレーすることの魅力は大きいものの、彼の決断は最終的には報酬とチームの競争力に基づくと見られています。エンゼルスを含め、多くのチームがブルペンの改善に取り組んでいます。例えば、カイル・フィネガン選手やボダン・ロマノ選手といった実力派リリーフ投手が移籍市場で注目されています。ブルペンの層が薄くなると、シーズン後半やポストシーズンでのパフォーマンスに影響を与えるため、これらの選手の獲得は多くのチームにとって優先事項となっています。また、エンゼルスは2021年のドラフトで多くの投手を指名しましたが、まだ成功を収めた選手は少なく、これからの成長が鍵となります。特に、リード・デトマーズ選手やその他の若手投手がブルペンやローテーションにどのように適応するかが、チームの成績を大きく左右します。最後に、ドジャースのデイブ・ワーツ監督の手腕が再び高く評価されています。2024年シーズンでは、度重なる怪我や逆境にもかかわらず、チームをまとめ上げ、プレーオフでの大逆転を成し遂げました。そのリーダーシップは、選手やファンにとって大きなインスピレーションとなっており、 彼のキャリアが殿堂入りにふさわしいものであることは間違いありません。このように、2025年に向けて MLB の世界では様々なドラマが繰り広げられています。エンゼルスの再建やフアン・ソト選手の移籍、そして他のチームの戦略がどのようにシーズンの行方を左右するのか、今から期待が高まりますね。ぜひ皆さんの意見や感想をコメント欄で教えてください。いいねをしてこの動画をシェアしていただければ MLB ファン同士でさらに盛り上がれると思います。そしてチャンネル登録をしていただければ最新のニュースや注目のストーリーをいち早くお届けします。これからも一緒に MLB の魅力を楽しみましょう。